the new company, LightSquared, has plans to build a 4G network that would blanket more than 90% of the United States in the next 5 years. It is an ambitious plan from an equally ambitious owner. LightSquared is backed by billionaire hedge fund manager Phil Falcone of Harbinger Capital. Our markets reporter Sheila Dharmarajan has been following the story, and she is joined now by LightSquared CEO Sanjiv Ahuja. Sheila?
Thanks, Mark. And Sanjiv, thank you so much for being here today. So you look at LightSquared, lots of money at stake, risky proposition. The big question is, why even do this in the first place? I mean, you look at telecom history, littered with startups that have pretty much tried to do exactly what you want to do in terms of building their own network, taking on the incumbents. Why does it make sense all of a sudden now?
Sheila, thank you for having me here. Really appreciate it. We are the world's first fourth-generation wireless broadband network with a satellite overlay. A network like this has never existed anywhere in the world. As you know, US is now 20th in broadband globally, used to be 17. So we're really slipping in the US. What we are providing for the first time ever, never been done before, coast-to-coast coverage, whether you're in the middle of Yellowstone National Park or outside Kansas, in rural Kansas place, you are connected. This broadband network will have the highest speed that has ever existed in this industry anywhere in the world. And consumer demand for wireless data is going to grow 40-fold in the next 4 years. So there's a big demand and supply gap. And we want to step in with an open network that is available to not just the wireless providers, not just the wireline providers, retailers, consumers, small businesses, device manufacturers, everybody. So it's truly a democratization of wireless broadband in this country. It is a massive change.
So democratization of wireless, that's a phrase you use a lot, and that's one of the major goals of LightSquared. At the end of the day, though, it is about dollars and cents. You have a big investor. You guys need to make a return on your money. Does this business model make sense? Is it profitable without a major partner like a T-Mobile? Several analysts say that the only way this is going to work is if you partner up with one of the majors, and T-Mobile, they don't have a 4G network yet. They've been brought up a lot as a logical candidate. Are you talking to them at all?
Sheila, we are talking to lots of wireless providers. We are talking to many wireline providers. We are talking to cable guys. We are talking to device manufacturers. We are talking to web players. And we're having very serious discussions with many of them. And we continue to work on it. The benefit that a consumer will get from this is multiple choices. Being a wholesaler, we will never have a retail presence competing with our partners in a retail store. So American consumers' choices grow dramatically. And when you have more choices, you get better value.
But Sanjiv, there's already a lot of choices out there, right? Just this morning, Best Buy and Clearwire said they were coming up with their own wholesale agreement. Verizon, they already do wholesale services to track phones for Walmart. There's plenty of wholesale providers out there. Why are you guys even trying to come into the fray here?
Sheila, when you are a wholesale provider, but you're also a retail presence, you end up competing with your customers.
But Verizon and Walmart don't seem to have an issue there. I mean, you're seeing Best Buy and Clearwire, they both have that same issue. Does it really matter?
It does matter to a consumer, and it does matter to your retail partner. When your retail partner sees the conflict with your supplier, there is a challenge for that. And we're talking to all the retailers, all the major wireless providers. We are complementary to everybody. No network today in this country has enough capacity. And we believe the capacity we add to the system will help fulfill the demand-supply gap that exists in the country.
On that point about capacity, you have Verizon and AT&T spending billions on their 4G network. You have Sprint, who's not yet quite at capacity. You have the government auctioning off even more spectrum. Is capacity really an issue?
This country's data demand will grow 40 to 100-fold in the next 4 to 7 years. There is not enough spectrum that is commercially available today for people to satisfy that demand. And I think with whatever capacity exists out there, there's a limited amount of spectrum that is being used to build 4G networks. And even with our own network, we'll only fulfill part of the total demand that will exist there 4 years, 5 years, 6 years down the road. So our objective is to take that network and make it available to everybody in the country. And the first time a US consumer with our satellite overlay can say, I have coverage, I am connected anywhere I am in this country, which has never happened before. And I have broadband capabilities. You're in the rural-most part of the country, you will have connectivity. That hasn't existed
And the
before.
economics work without a major carrier.
Economics work when you have a variety of retailers. So as I said, we are talking to wireless providers through smallest game manufacturer. And the amount of interest we are seeing has really surprised us. We anticipated massive demand, but what we have observed since we came out publicly about our network has really exceeded our expectation.
And let's talk about the handsets for a second, because that is part of this story. It would involve partnering up with the different manufacturers to actually build new handsets. If Apple has shown nothing else, it has shown that phones are no more a commodity product. They're incredibly branded, incredibly consumer product driven. How has the response about having to build an entire new phone for your network been when it hasn't been proven yet?
Well, there are new sets of phones being built for the fourth generation network, new generation of devices being built. And many of those are being built for our network already. We are working with many manufacturers. At this stage, several of them.
Apple?
We are talking to many handset manufacturers, many netbook manufacturers, many camera manufacturers. And our service will get included as a part of their offer when they go to a consumer. For instance, if you go buy a camera and our network is embedded in the camera, you take your picture, it gets loaded in the cloud, and you have access to it.
So one last quick question. We only have a few seconds left. Exit opportunities. Are you guys thinking about sale, IPO? What are you guys thinking about in terms of the future? You do have an investor who needs to make returns.
Well, Sheila, right now our focus is to build the business. As you know, next year we are committed to launch 4 markets. By year 2015, we are going to cover 290 million people in this country. As a part of this process, we will create 100,000 new jobs, totally privately funded. So our focus is build the business, and then we'll worry about the exit when the time's right.
Sanjiv Ahuja, thank you so much for joining us. You heard it here, Sanjiv Ahuja from LightSquared Networks.